Hi knitters, welcome to episode 82 of the Knitty McPurly podcast. I am Devin AT. You can find me online as Knitty McPurly on Instagram. I'm here on YouTube where you can click the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you want to go over to my website, I'm KnittyMcPurly.com, and you can sign up for things like my newsletter, which is one of the most prevalent ways that I use to communicate. So if you want to see what I'm having in my shop and whatnot, go ahead and sign up for my newsletter over there. If you want to email me, I am Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. So that's who I am. Welcome all newcomers and comerbackers. The podcast is a little late this weekend. It's Sunday. I like to do it on Friday, but that just did not happen this weekend, so I'm just not going to sweat it. It has been kind of overcast here in Virginia. What's that? Is that a murdog? Oh, he's so cute. I have the sticker on my car, and our priest came over, and he was like, "What is that?" At which point, I immediately decided that the next time he comes over, I'm going to sneak one onto his car, because I think he needs a murdog. It probably won't last very long, but it would be funny while it did last. People be like, "Father, what is on your car?" Oh gosh, I laugh at my own jokes, in case you haven't noticed. Whether they're funny or not, you're probably sitting there going, it's been overcast, it's been rainy. Yesterday, my kids had their first swim meet. And that was an experience. That was a slice of life. Swim culture is a thing. Like, these people are hardcore. They didn't care it was raining. They had the music blasting. Everybody had a great time. It was really a sight to behold. Quick, what's it called? Where, like a retraction, I suppose. On my last episode, I talked about this one pattern on Ravelry that was 15 pounds, because it was a British pattern, 15 British pounds. And I likened that to $25 because back in the late 90s, when I was in England, I studied there for a year in college, that was the exchange rate. In fact, I went back and looked it up, and back then, 15 pounds would have been equal to about $27. But the exchange rate has changed completely since then. I really haven't given it a lot of thought. So I put in 15 pounds at the current exchange rate, and that would only be $18.75. So I did want to set the record straight that we are not in the late 90s anymore. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto, in case you haven't noticed. Lots of things have changed since the late 90s, which brings me to one interesting thing that's happening to me today. I'll be brief, is that my friend who I went to school with in England for one semester is coming over tonight with her husband, her father-in-law, and her 3 children. So that should be really fun. I haven't seen her since, I think, 1998. She went to the University of San Francisco, and I went to Franciscan University in Ohio, but this program that we were in England had a lot of different Christian university students together in one program. So that ought to be really fun. I'm excited about that happening later. Go get an advent calendar if you haven't gotten one already. And don't stress if you think, well, I'd like an advent calendar, but maybe I'd like to wait till it's, fall and not like, what is it? Is it even still legitimately spring? I think it is. We're not even at summer yet, you guys. Feels like we are. Although, like I said, weather has been weird here in Northern Virginia. I feel like my friend is not getting the full effect of the DC, Virginia area in June because it's been cooler and rainy. Normally it's 1,000 degrees and humid as a pot of boiling water. So yeah, DC pretty much empties out in the summertime except for the tourists who probably think that this is just how we all live all the time. But, everything here is air conditioned because we don't like it either. Okay, go get an advent calendar or at least put it on your radar. They should be for sale for a while because, like I love to tell you every week, I made a lot. So, the retreat, that is a big reason why my podcast is late. I had the deadline for the second payment was June 1st. Today is June 12th. Happy birthday, Mom. It's my mom's birthday today. Happy birthday. So June 1st was the cutoff date to make the second payment. But I did give people leeway. Like a lot of people just forgot, you know, it just went off the radar. So I sent them a message saying, just so you remember, you know, make the second payment. And so a lot of people said, oh, totally forgot. Click, click, done. But some people didn't respond. This is the part of the retreat planning that I did not anticipate, is people not responding to me. Like people who either signed up or got on the wait list. I'll send them a message and they won't respond. So I'll send them I'll send them like 4 or 5 emails over the course of a week and I won't hear anything back. And I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means that you're on vacation and haven't checked your email, which is unfortunate because some of those people have forfeited their spot. Unless that's what they wanted, thinking, well, Devin keeps asking me, but if I ignore her, she'll know that I don't want the spot anymore. So that's confusing to me. Please answer me. Please, especially if you've given me money. Like, I don't know what to do at that point. I don't know what to do. So respond to me. I have still some people who have not responded. And some people I gave a deadline and they didn't respond. And so that's done. But other people, like on the wait list, I'll say a spot has opened up for you. And there are these wonderful people who say, yay, I'm so excited. Click, click, done. And then I know they want to come. They've committed, done. That's an easy, I take them from the wait list part of my spreadsheet and I move them up to the paid participant part of my spreadsheet. And that's a beautiful thing. If you like spreadsheets like I do, then you understand that that's a beautiful thing. But when I have to mark down, emailed this date, didn't hear back, emailed this date, didn't hear back. It just becomes kind of convoluted. So if I message you, and if you're not on the wait list yet, go get on the wait list because people, there's no commitment to get on the wait list. So people may have just signed up saying, well, we'll see what happens. And then when they get my email, they're like, nah, I can't do that, or I can't afford that, or gas prices are too high, or whatever. And so they don't respond. So at that rate, I'm going to go through the wait list fairly quickly. So go ahead and put your name on the wait list. I had one lovely lady, her name came up on the wait list and she wanted her friend to come. And I couldn't let her friend cut the line, which she understood. I mean, she wasn't trying to cut the line or anything. People don't always understand how the wait list works or, how long I've been accumulating it. Right now, there's about 25 people on it. And so what she ultimately decided to do is just put her name at the bottom with her friend so that they can come together. And I had another lady who wanted her husband to come. And so I said, look, your husband, I'm going to guess, is probably not a knitter. My husband's not a knitter. I don't know any of you guys whose husbands are knitters. If they are, that is awesome. I love it. It just doesn't happen that often that you get a husband and wife who are both knitters. So I said, if your husband doesn't want to, do the retreat with us, you can just bring him along. Call up and get your hotel room for the both of you, but you only need to buy a spot for you. Like he doesn't need a swag bag and meals. Like that, meals is really the only thing. But there are a lot of great restaurants nearby. There are none in the hotel, but there are some. There's one in particular that I talked about on the episode where I talked about our trip to Lake Junaluska called the Buttered Biscuit. I'm pretty sure you could just hang out there all day. Like it's all locals with a handful of people like us who are staying at the resort and are just like, have wandered over to a place called the Buttered Biscuit, which sounds amazing. So anyway, that's a lot of words. I hope the message that you take away from that is email me back. Like even if it's just to say, thanks, Devin, for messaging me. I need some time to think about it. Can I have a few days? Sure, of course. But if I don't hear back, I don't know what that means. I don't know if you even got the email. So email me back. Okay. Progress and shop news. So before I get to that, I just want to talk about how the Layterri Shawl is my current favorite shawl ever. I loved this shawl. I love designing this shawl This was the mystery knit along for the Lent calendar. So a lot of you out there have this identical shawl, and we can be twinsies at the retreat. If you come and if you bring it, that would be awesome. But you can get this as an individual pattern, and you can use scraps or minis or whatever. You could knit the whole thing in one color if you want. While I'm talking, I'll put up some pictures so you can see a little bit better than, you know, just what I'm wearing here. But, you know, actually I'm going to take it off just to show you better. One thing that I did, my original vision for the shawl was very gray and purple and pink. And that is pretty much what it is. There's this green part here, and the reason this green exists is because it was St. Patrick's Day, and I wanted to have green. And I thought, gosh, I hope that works. Like, I hope that works in the shawl. And then I went to yellow at the end, and I just could not love it anymore. Every time I put this shawl on, I think, I'm so glad that I put the green in there because I love it. I just love the way it turned out. Also, you know how some shawls, you need a mirror and 20 minutes to like style them? This one is, you take the center spine there, put it there, done. I really don't give this one much thought when I'm putting it on because it's so easy. I love a reasonably sized triangle shawl like this for that reason. This is like my perfect shape and size of a shawl. And I have a couple triangle shawls. This one is my current favorite. And I just love the colors. I just love everything about it. Okay, I have some new things in the shop. Most of what I'm going to talk about today, well, some of it is in the shop now and some of it is not. Let's start there. Let's start with what is currently in the shop. So I do have more Murdog stickers. If you are interested in this extremely adorable knitting mermaid dog, look at his little love handles right here. Look at it. It's like he's being stuffed into the costume. I went back and added those, by the way, because I was like, I don't want him to look like he naturally exists as a mermaid. I want him to look like he's wearing a costume that barely fits him. And he's got a little, let's see, will it zoom in? I don't know if that works. He's got a little unicorn horn with flowers, and his eyes are closed while he's knitting a little sock or hat or whatever it is. It's so cute. Anyway, these are $2 in my shop. If you order just stickers and you check out and go $6 for shipping, what? Just put a little note in there saying, I'm ordering just stickers. Can you refund part of my shipping? And I will refund you probably like $5 of it. That's been, I mean, if you're ordering a lot of stickers and it's going to cost me 2 stamps, I might charge you a little more. I don't know. But $1 will cover the shipping of just stickers. Anything else requires a box, and that does cost more to ship. But if you just want stickers, just leave me a note and I will refund you the rest of your shipping. That's easier than giving you an option to choose cheaper shipping. Because if I do that, people will inadvertently pick that every time because it's cheaper. And then I will cause a large problem to solve a small problem. You understand? So anyway, there's that sticker. Also, this is new in the shop. And it should be there right now. As of right now, when I'm filming, it's not in there yet, but when I'm done filming, I will go ahead and pop it in the shop. A couple podcasts ago, I talked about blocking as a way of kind of smoothing it out, fixing the mistakes, making it work. And I said, it'll block out. And I thought that's such a good motto, not only for knitting, but for life. It'll block out. Like, I know whatever it is looks hard now, or it looks wrong now, or you think, oh, I think I need to undo it, go back, quit, whatever. But it'll block out. It doesn't always work, but a lot of the time it does. And I thought it was just a great mantra. So in my mind, I thought, I need a sticker. I need a sticker that says it will block out. And so I designed about 50 of these stickers, like I just kept designing it and it was wrong. And I'm like, I don't like that. I just kept doing it and it just was not what I wanted. So I think it was last Sunday, I sat on the couch with my iPad and my Apple Pencil and I just drew in Procreate all day. Last episode or a couple episodes ago, I talked about Procreate as a way to make palettes. And that is true, you can do that, but palettes for the sake of making a picture. I also use them for making palettes, but Procreate is a drawing app. And if you're interested, if you have an iPad and an Apple Pencil and you're interested in drawing, Google Procreate tutorials. There are a million tutorials and a million cool things that you can do with this app. So I sat on the couch and I hung out with my family and we watched Andy Griffith and we played with the dog and I just drew on the iPad all day. And I came up with some things I'm super proud of, like, and a lot of stuff that I chucked. I mean, a lot of stuff where I try it, garbage, throw it out, but it's a good learning experience like anything else. Anyway, so it was one of those moments where you try and everything's bad and wrong and you chuck it out. And then all of a sudden it comes together. And I made this. Isn't that fabulous? I love it because it is so simple. It also has my latest sweater design on it, which is coming out very soon in the next week or so. I have to look at the actual date. I think the date we picked was June 18th. And I want to talk about that too, because my testers are amazing human beings. But this is the Hepburn sweater with no turtleneck, which is the way most of my testers knit it. But it's just a simple picture of a sweater and it says, it'll block out. I love how basic it is, you know, whereas this one is so kind of bold and colorful. This one is so basic. And in Procreate, there are different brushes you can use. And this is a brush called the Procreate Pencil. So it's mainly drawn in pencil. And this is a font that I purchased online. And I just love it so much. So I have it on my iPad here. Stuck it there. It will block out. Is it crooked? I can't tell. But anyway, those will also be $2. All stickers are $2 in my shop. If you want some of those, you can go get those right now. Those are there. We're talking about stuff that's in the shop. So I have Knitty McPurly Hand Balm for Knitters in Peony in my new Made in the USA tins. The color is slightly different, but frankly, I love it just as much. I might even love this more. This tin is a heavier weight metal than the rose gold one that I was using, but this one is made in the US and it's just gorgeous. So I have a few of these in stock, not very many. This is the 2-ounce tin. And new to the shop, which you know if you are a newsletter subscriber, is this stick, which you can twist up and roll on. This is supposedly, it just has the best, this is supposedly a 1/2 ounce and this is a 2-ounce. Like that's the container, but frankly, I guess this is just more container and this is more space. Like this feels heavier, but this is a lot. And this is only, I think, $8 and this one is $12. Some people bought both and I think it's probably they're thinking I have one for my kitchen and one for my purse or whatever. But they're very, very pretty. And the scent is peony. That is my scent for summer. And it's got these beautiful vintage peonies on there, probably drawn in Procreate. If I had to guess, I did not draw them. I purchased them. On Etsy, you can purchase lots of amazing clip art. And it's got the ingredients. It's all like organic and natural and all that. And this is made in the US. So I'm very, very pleased about my new packaging, made in the USA. Love it. And that is also true of the lip balm, which is very similar. This is, I forget how much this is. I forget what fraction of an ounce this is, but this is $4. So they kind of go up in $4 increments based on the size. This lip balm is a slightly different formula. But like I've said to you before, I will keep this in my purse and use it on my hands, especially if I have a cut or something. It really does help the healing, not because it's magic, but just because it's got stuff in it like shea butter and coconut oil and what else is in there? Lanolin, olive oil. It's just got a lot of good stuff in there that does heal skin. So, all right, I'm going to take this off because I'm getting hot. Okay. I have had, stitch markers are one of the ways that I started. And up until now, I have had them in a few different round containers. Some of you even have the old school ones that I put out like right when I opened my shop. So this adorable tiny tin is a slider. See, this slides and it will come off. And inside there, I think there are 20 stitch markers. There are, if you look on the website, and I'll put up pictures while we're talking, but there are 5 brass, 5 silver tone, 5 rose gold tone, and 5 rose gold light bulb, like lockable stitch markers in there. So, and then this is my favorite part right here. I love that. But it has a new label, newly designed label, and it's just so cute. So these are in the shop right now. A lot of those things were part of the shop update last week, which you would know about if you subscribe to my newsletter. So if you go to my website, KnittyMcPurly.com, you can click on that, get the newsletter if you're interested, because that's where people find out about stuff first. You always get to shop first, and you get a special code that you can use on anything. There was a shop update where the code wasn't working. And the reason for that was because it was not set properly, but I went in and fixed it. So the code that the newsletter people get, you will be able to use on everything now. So, okay, so that takes care of stuff that is currently in the shop. Coming soon, wool wash. Sorry, that's blowing out a little bit. Wool wash. This is a 4-ounce bottle in the peony scent, and it's got ingredients over here and directions, and I'm kind of ridiculously proud of this. I will have this in the shop very soon in 4-ounce and 8-ounce bottles. I will also have samples. I haven't exactly decided how I'm going to distribute the samples. Probably what I will do is, I'm deciding right now, if you make a $50 order, I will throw in a sample for you. And that's like in a little silver squeezy package where you rip it open and you pour it in, and it's like a one-time thing. That's what a sample looks like. I don't want to charge for those, but I would like, if you want to try it, you know, before you buy it, that way I could get that to you in a small quantity so you can see if you like it. But that's super exciting. I mean, this has been, it's kind of a long process to make a product like this. This is it's hard to see. It's funny because it's so cloudy outside, but yet it's blowing out so much. This is a no sudsing, no rinse wool wash. So what you do is you shake it and you dump it in the water and you swish it, and you'll see it a little bit. It shouldn't look chunky, but you should see it. It's kind of a whitish color. It will not suds. And then you put your garment in there and let it soak for a bit. Use however much water you want, remembering that water dilutes soap. So the more water you use, probably the more soap you're gonna wanna use. Then you wring it out gently, and you leave it soak for however long. If you leave it for 15 minutes or an hour, that's fine. Don't leave it for a week. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. Then squeeze it out, dry it flat, and you will feel how soft it is. The yarn that I have been dyeing, I now use my wash exclusively, and the yarn, and that's a good way to try it out too, is to just feel the yarn that you get from me from now on, that you can feel how soft it is. It's so, so soft. And it hopefully will smell good too. And that is because I am using my own wool wash. So yay, it's so exciting. So that's coming. That's not in the shop yet, but it will be there. Next, on July 1st, I'm going to be having a Patriotic shop update. I want to show you the yarn that I have dyed for that. I wanted there to be a pattern that this went with. So you can buy the yarn and do whatever you want with it. I don't care what you do with it. You can make, as you know, a whole room full of pom-poms if that's what you want. But if you are a person who likes to buy the pattern and the yarn together, there is a pattern that this yarn goes with, and that is my Modern Rainbow Socks #1. To knit those socks, you need 6 20-gram minis. Each sock takes 10 grams of each color. So it's a little more than 1 full skein of yarn. It's 120 grams of yarn rather than 100 grams. So what I've done is I've dyed up 6 20-gram minis, and that is going to be my Patriotic yarn for the July 4th weekend. Yay, so exciting. I'm gonna show those to you right now. Like I said, you cannot get these right now. The shop update will be on July 1st. If you wanna know the exact time, go sign up for the newsletter. So I'll show these to you. I'll show you the first 3 at once. They're not very original. So the first 3, I think, need no explanation. They are red, white, and blue. Now, this is the same red and blue that I did on last year's sock set, the Patriot sock set. But I want to talk to you for a minute about the white. Now, you might look at this and go, well, that's not very creative. What sheep are white, right? Do I have an undyed skein up here? No, I don't. But I will have you know that undyed yarn is not white. When you get it, it's very kind of a natural look. Probably you've seen undyed yarn before and you know what I'm talking about. I'll put up a picture. Undyed yarn is not white. Making yarn white is a process. Let me tell you, if you find a dyer that has white yarn, they have cracked the code. And I imagine that this is a code that it has more than one way to crack it. I have tried more than one way. I have tried many ways to make the yarn white. Some have worked better than others. Some have not worked at all and resulted in that skein going in the garbage. I am not going to tell you. Secrets. I kind of feel like how you make yarn white is a dying secret that you just don't get to know without doing that legwork on your own. I first became intrigued when my friend Nicole over at Yolk put up her white yarn and was like, this is white yarn. Like, don't knock it. Like, you don't know how I did this. And I was like, how did she do that? I want to know. So I went on a quest that I just vaguely described that ended in mostly failure and a little bit of success. So whenever you see plain white yarn and you see it being white like this is, that's because someone awesome figured it out. Not to toot my own horn. Okay, so those are the first 3 colors. I'm going to show them all to you at one time together at the end, but those are the first 3. Those are obvious, right? Red, white, and blue. We're Americans. July 4th is our Independence Day. It's a very, very big patriotic celebration. So I thought, what are the other 3 going to be? Well, my next color was kind of obvious to me, and that is OD green. This is showing up a little more yellow than it actually is, but OD green is kind of a little yellow. OD stands for olive drab. This is anything but drab because the mixture of dye that makes my particular OD green is one like I described last week, where it kind of soaks the dye up gradually, and where you pull it out midway and the water is a color, you're like, what is that? But when you wait and you let it all soak in, it makes an amazing color with a lot of depth to it. So this is definitely a tonal color, OD green. So far, I feel like we're looking very American patriotic right here. Okay. So I thought, well, what about more modern colors of military uniforms? So my next pick was Desert Camo. And this is a deserty color with speckles of other deserty colors. This has some kind of grayish speckles in there. I think this turned out really good. So again, here we go. Very American patriotic, don't you think? Oh my gosh, I love it so much. So my last color is the one that I was kind of the most excited about. I just grabbed one out of the bin. I didn't like pick the best one, and I love it. I just think it's so good. I love how it turned out. I wanted this to have all the colors of a decorated military officer, such as this one. This is just a picture I found on Google. This is a picture of a Navy SEAL who died, and I don't know the circumstances surrounding his death. but it's just a picture that I found when I did a Google search of a highly decorated Navy officer. And the reason I chose the navy is because of the white. The base of this color is white, and then over top of it is mostly blue, red, and gold, because that is the main color of the decorations that they wear. There is a little bit of green and purple, a tiny bit of green and purple. It's in there because there is a little bit of that on a highly decorated Navy officer's uniform. But this color is going to be called highly decorated. So highly decorated, desert camo, OD green, and then I went super creative with red, blue, and white. But I think these would make an amazing anything, but especially a pair of very patriotic socks I think would be awesome. But like I said, you can do whatever you want with them. These, this set of 6 mini skeins, 20 grams each, will be available starting on July 1st with that shop update. I did make a bunch, but it's a sellout number. There's the I will sell out and have people frustrated number. There's the I will sell out and cover most people number. And then there's the I have made a ton advent calendar number, where I'm kind of like hoping that there's this many people out there who want an advent calendar. Yeah, so that is coming. That's mostly shop news. Oh, and the new pattern that's coming out is the Audrey sweater. I'm sorry, not Audrey, is the Hepburn sweater. It is the 3rd sweater in my Hepburn collection. The first one was Audrey. Second one is called Go Lightly, after Holly Golightly. And the newest one is called Hepburn, and this one will be out, I want to say June 18th-ish. I will have a newsletter go out when it comes out. That is something that doesn't sell out, so you can get it whenever you want. There will probably be some sort of a discount at the beginning, which you will hear about if you get the newsletter. So just go sign up for that. My testers for this pattern have been amazing. This is a fingering weight sweater that is very, very basic. If you like knitting miles and miles of stockinette, you will love this sweater because it's a wardrobe staple. It's one of those things that if you knit it in a color either that you love or that's neutral, it will be a wardrobe staple for the rest of your life. It's a great pattern. However, it is kind of boring if you're a person who loves lace and cables and, you know, really interesting knitting. I've definitely gone through both phases in my life where sometimes I want all stockinette and other times I want something that's a little bit more, you know, where you have to pay attention. So, and it's always nice to kind of have more than one type of project going on at one time. So what I've been working on personally is mainly dyeing advent calendars and making the swag bags for the retreat. These are going to be awesome. I don't want to talk them up too much because I want you to go in with low expectations. I like to, what's it called? Under promise and over deliver. That's what I like to do. But yeah, so they're going to be kind of mediocre, not really great at all. I'm also wearing this stitch marker necklace. I have stitch marker necklaces in the shop. This is one of the spinny ones. There we go. Now this one only holds small stitch markers. So if you are a sock knitter or someone who likes to knit with a lot of fingering weight yarn, a necklace like this would be perfect. It's also very, very cute. I'm currently in, I'm going to call this dress sweats. I've got my sweatpants and my kind of fancy t-shirt. This is dress sweats. But this is a really pretty necklace. It looks really nice on. It's kind of understated. So I really like this necklace for that reason. But if you want bigger stitch markers or a lot of stitch markers, you would want to look at a bigger necklace like the Josephine or the Odette. Those can hold a ton of larger stitch markers or whatever else you want to stick in there. Also, this is a random thing. I have a P.O. box. if you get mail from me, from my business, it comes from my P.O. box. But I don't really check it very often because I don't receive a lot of mail there. But you guys wrote me the nicest notes, especially back when I was going through my cancer treatment. I went in one day and I was like, you know, I should check my P.O. box. So I go in there and there's so many notes and cards and they were so beautiful. I have them right over here on this thing. This side of this is like cleaned up. The other side is a total mess. My favorite is when my husband comes in and starts changing his clothes over here while I'm filming, and this little beveled part of the mirror picks it up a little bit. That is the best. Anyway, thank you so much to those of you who sent me notes. Those were so kind. And I didn't mention it before because I didn't get the notes before. So I just received them. And reading the ones that I could tell you wrote like while I was undergoing chemo, that was... my heart grew like the Grinch, and it just, it was so sweet. So thank you so much for that. Okay, our topic and word of the week this week go together because I've been talking about this Nora Gone book that I wanted to review. And that is the Twisted Stitch Source Book, A Breakthrough Guide to Knitting and Designing. As you know, I have a couple of Nora Gone's books. I just have one here, but I have other ones in my downstairs. But I really wanted to go over this one with you in case, just mainly as a public service. Like, I think if you go on Amazon, you can see the cover and then maybe the back. And that's like, well, what's in it? Like, I want to see what's in it. What if my library doesn't have it? Or what if I'm anti-library because I know that it's going to cost me more to borrow it than it is to buy it? Some people are that way, like my dad. He cannot have a library card. I think that they've banned him. If they haven't, they should have. Okay, so the word of the week is going to be twisted stitches. And the topic of the week is going to be twisted stitches. So in the introduction, I just wanted to read this part to you because before buying a book like this, it was like a $20 or $25 book. It's a good, you know, it's a good amount of money to invest in a book. But I felt like this was a really important piece of information. She says, so what are twisted stitches? I'm just going to read to you this one paragraph. Knitting terms often have different meanings in different circumstances. For instance, the term twisted stitch has a few common meanings. When you knit or purl through the back loop of a stitch, this makes a twisted stitch. Now, this is what I think of when I think of a twisted stitch. As we all know, a stitch has two legs. You know what, if you're looking from your perspective, the front leg and the back leg. Knitting through the back loop switches them, and it literally just twists the stitch. Now, if you did that on every row, you'd end up with a very twisted stitch. If you did it every other row or every right side row, the stitch would be a little bit less twisted. So that is not the kind of twisted stitches that she is talking about here. Let's read on. In this book, twisted stitches are two separate stitches that change places with each other, much like a cable, but worked entirely on the needles in a special way by working two stitches together and one on its own. If you have knit my bear socks pattern, this pattern uses a twisted stitch pattern. And it is addicting. They are so much fun to knit because it's basically a little trick. Whether you're leaning your twisted stitch left or right, it's just a little bit of a trick. You're essentially switching them, but without a cable needle, because that would take forever and it would be arduous and unpleasant, in my humble opinion. Nora says, while the look is very similar to a cable, these stitches stand out from the fabric in high relief, much more than if the switching of places was worked like a cable, with one stitch held in the front or back while the other stitch is being worked. So that is the philosophy, I guess, behind this type of stitching. You see the high relief here, how it stands out. This is really interesting. I like this seam here. I love Nora. You guys know I love her. I love her whole attitude toward knitting that is both fearless and do what you want. You know, like, you know, if you like seaming, let's seam. If you don't like seaming, do your provisional cast on. Like, it's not so like rigid that, oh, you do it this way or you do it wrong. Like, I love that she's not that way, because I'm not that way either. She's, however, much more experienced and knowledgeable and just awesome than I am. Okay, so what I really want to do here is just show you some of the pictures. Like, this is an example of the left twist, and the right twist worked as a pattern. What does she call this? Oh, this is, I think, just a really basic one right here. And if you buy the book, then you can see how to do that. But basically, this book is part stitch dictionary and part pattern book. So let me show you here. Okay, so here we're getting into like hexagons. Oh, that's, okay, so here we are. This is like the stitch dictionary where she's showing you all of these different patterns. Like, that one's really pretty. There's some of them that are just really interesting. So it's part stitch dictionary where you could do your own. And then toward the end, she has different patterns. This is fabulous. That's really pretty. I hope you can see that. But you see the high relief stitches at the top that are worked as twisted stitches. Let me show you. That one's called the Extreme Yoke Pullover. Now, you know, some designers like myself, I knit almost entirely top-down sweaters because that's how I like to do it. She is not that way. I feel like she is willing to construct in any possible way. And while that is awesome as an artistic form, it can be a little daunting as a knitter following a pattern. However, it's also a good challenge if you love a good challenge. And then here's an example of a pattern that would probably be pretty simple. We just have a hat and some fingerless gloves that use the twisted stitches, which would maybe be a good place to start. Let me see what else. Here's a really cute one. This is a really pretty color too. This color is totally coming back. It was in the early 2000s and then it went out for a while, but it's totally back. But this is very similar to the pattern on my bear socks. It's like a diamond pattern. And those socks are kind of like a sampler of the pattern because you just have the one panel in the front and the whole rest of the sock is stockinette. It does have a slightly different gauge than stockinette, but it works out. Here's another one. That's really pretty. I wonder how that has worked. If I had to guess, I'd say bottom up. Let's see. She says this basic shell could be worn with like palazzo pants, or you could layer it under a cardigan or jacket. Does it say if it's bottom up? Worked in pieces from the bottom up, yeah. Okay, oh, I see. So that's not even worked in the round. That's interesting. Okay, let's see. Here is one. It's called the Island Pullover, which is kind of a boxy style, which I really like. That's really nice. Can I also roll this into my knitting fantasies? I feel like I've been talking for a long time, so because I didn't get to, oh, this one is really interesting. It's called the Deep Yoke Pullover. Look at that. That is really cool. First of all, I love the color. Second of all, I love how different this is. I don't know that I love that this raised part goes right across here. That's maybe not the best placement for it, although if it's going to be raised across the top half of your body, I don't know where else you would put it. But it's really cool. I like it a lot. Oh, and here's one. That's a really cool one too. So this book, if you're interested in working twisted stitches, it's a great, great resource. I highly recommend it. Of all my Noragon books, I think this one is probably my favorite, with the Knitted Cable Source book as a close second, because I do use that one a lot too. Okay, today I kind of condensed the topic, the word of the week, and the knitting fantasies all together. I did have one knitting fantasy. I'll put up a picture here. Hohi's working on a new sweater that I just think is gorgeous. It's one of her boxy types, and it's got like lace and this kind of thing going on, and it's just gorgeous. Hohi is, I just love what she comes up with. She has such classic taste. I don't have any, so here's what happened stories, you guys. I ran out of them. Send me more. If you have a knitting story, I would love to put it at the end of the podcast. If it's cute, funny, adorable, self-deprecating, I don't care. Whatever story you would like to send me, please do. I know that there are those of you out there who are going, oh, I was thinking of doing it, or I wanted my sister to do it with me, or whatever. I would love to have it on the podcast. Please send it in if the spirit moves you. And on that note, until next time, I can't believe I talked so long. All right, guys, happy knitting. See you next week. Bye.